For the past 24 hours, Bitcoin has been on an absolute tear. The question is why? And of course, are we going to bust through the $30,000 mark, or are we headed back down toward the $20,000 area? Well, in this video, I'm going to break that down for you. I take a moment from my very busy day to bring to you guys what I've learned from our market analysts, from insights, and we've broken this down to a very clear reason of what's going on and kind of what we're expecting to happen from here. Okay, so on this chart right now, you can see exactly when we started to see this rally. So we saw it right around here was the beginning of it. And if you see, this is 22, which is 10 o'clock yesterday. And that is almost exactly 24 hours ago. It's a bit less. But if you look at this right here, the news of First Republic Bank, yes, that's right. Another bank is in dire trouble right now. First Republic, $100 billion was withdrawn recently, and the stock crashed over 50% overnight. Literally got obliterated and continued the sell-off. Some people might point to the fact that actually this happened several hours earlier, but if you look at the news reports, you start to see that literally the first breaking news started to happen right around exactly the time that the market started to pump. So while this First Republic Bank isn't a huge bank, it is big. In order for this to really affect the banking markets and really affect the government, a lot more needs to happen. But I think if you're like me, maybe you started to think that potentially the banking crisis was under control. We haven't had news in several weeks about another bank collapse. And I think that a lot of the people out there started talking about the fact that the banks are under control and we're not going to see any more contagion or fallout. But here we go. Yet another one bites the dust. So what does this mean? This means that yet again, people are expecting that this contagion is not finished. And yet another thing to validate the fact that there are probably much more difficult times ahead. If you haven't seen my recent video with Tom, our in-house analyst, make sure that you go check it out. I'll put a link in the description, or maybe one will pop up somewhere toward the end of the video. But you need to go watch that because we talk about all the macro things that are happening in the market, and we go over a lot of data to cover our thesis, right? And in these weekly videos, we talk about the fact that just around the corner, we can expect to see a sharp sell-off in equities and probably looking at some sort of pretty bad recession. We're expecting, anywhere between 20+% sell-off in the equities markets. And historically, that has led to a pullback in the crypto markets. Now, we do think, and this yet again is another sign that potentially for the first time ever, we may not see a massive pullback in the crypto market, at least not Bitcoin and Ethereum, if we do see a sharp decline in the stock market. This could be that epic decoupling that we're all hoping happens. Now, does that mean that we're in a massive bull run if the markets collapse, the traditional markets? No, that's not what it means at all. Again, for more in-depth explanation, make sure that you go check out the market. Now, let's talk about this really big green candle right here. And we're starting to see a little bit of cool off right now, and that's exactly what you would expect to see a huge rally like this in the past 24 hours. And of course, you have this $30,000 resistance mark up here, right? This big $30,000 resistance mark. And of course, it's just going to hit that and bounce back down a little bit. Also, when you see this massive candle on the 1 hour, that's not sustainable, right? That is definitely, and what we're thinking that happened there is that is more than likely where someone decided to take advantage of the market, right? It would have taken a lot of capital for someone to manipulate the markets, not a tremendous amount, but this is clearly some sort of organic rise in the market. This is likely caused by the First Republic news. And then probably right around here, or certainly here, some big whales out there were looking at the liquidations for the shorts and decided that they would pump the market, take advantage of liquidations. And we do see some of these liquidations that happened at this exact period of time. Of course, you have cascading liquidations, forced buy demand in the market. So what would likely happen is a big player would come in right around here. You can see on the charts, they would come around here. They would put in a long order. They would pump the price, liquidate these shorts, cascading liquidations, rising the price of Bitcoin, come up with obviously $30,000 mark is going to be a sell-off, or especially if they have anything to do with it, open up a short at the top, start selling off. And I don't know exactly what to expect from here, but me personally, I do expect, and guys, not financial advice, I'm not a TA guy at all. so take this with a grain of salt, but logic would tell me that this is probably some sort of resistance around here. And as you can see too, this mark right here is quite of a resistance mark right here. You can see over here, we have a resistance line. But my guess is that we're probably going to see some sort of pullback to this $2,800 range, somewhere in that. What could change this? Well, could we get news coming out, in the next 24 hours that some other bank is affected? If we do that, we'll probably start to see another pump, and that could break that $30,000 resistance mark and send us higher, right? We've heard a lot of people speculate that we will see upward momentum in the market at least through potentially May, and then maybe big sell-offs in June and July. Again, go watch the macro video. But we could still see a run up in the markets for the next 4 to 6 weeks. And then we have to take caution. Right? And what I want to teach you guys again is how to prepare for long-term and not worry so much about these short-term price movements, but more look ahead for the long-term, right? I think that trying to trade these very volatile markets, especially in a very liquid market compared to traditional capital markets, is very risky. As we saw from this green candle I just pointed out, likely that was caused by maybe one or a couple coordinated efforts from large players who were able to get that big green candle and cause those liquidations and saw an opportunity to take advantage of it. If you're in a situation like this, you literally have no control, and it's so easy to manipulate the market. But more importantly, this literally could be a risk-off asset, Bitcoin. There's been a lot of developments, when we used to talk about it being a risk-on asset, meaning that people consider it a risky asset. But now as it starts to mature, more governments and banks and everything start to adopt it, people are taking Bitcoin very seriously. Finally, for the first time in my life since 2012, when I really wanted everyone to know about Bitcoin, finally, people are taking it really seriously. And it seems like it is now becoming a risk-off asset. And so really what we could see, and it almost seems inevitable that we're going to see some sort of recession. And a couple things could land from that, right? The recession could go into something where we see something like 2008, which I don't think is likely. Why? Because we have 2024 election season and things are heating up. You got Republicans and Democrats battling it out. And what you can't have during a presidential election is a really horrible economy, right? If you're the Democratic Party and you want a chance at running against Republicans, you need to maintain your position and say that you didn't F up the economy. So what happens if something breaks, right? If in June, July, we see this 20+% pullback in the stock market, it's really, really bad. You can either let that ride out and do the right thing probably and let things settle down normally, or you can go back to the Fed and what did they say? We're willing to do whatever it takes and print as much money as it takes, right? And if you've ever watched my video that I made like 8 months ago about how I believe this is going to play out with central bank digital currencies, then this plays perfectly into that narrative, right? What did I say? I said that we're looking at a period of quantitative easing, then tightening, and then likely something breaking, and then quantitative easing again, even if that means printing trillions of more dollars, debasing the dollar even more, damn near close to hyperinflating the US dollar, and maybe even getting to a point where inflation actually becomes super ridiculous because you need a crisis in order for something like a central bank digital dollar, which we know is coming, for people with logical brains to say, have open arms and bring in a very invasive, non-privacy obeying central bank digital currency that has all kinds of crazy rules on it. You need a form of crisis in order to get the majority of the population to accept something so invasive like this, right? And what is a better crisis than hyperinflation? I can't think of one, right? And it's a perfect thing for the administration to point to their predecessors. It's never their fault, right? And in this case, it really isn't. Is that it really wasn't this administration or the previous one or any ones before that, right? This problem started all the way back when we got off the gold standard and started going to this modern monetary policy where we could print at will. And so it is a broken monetary system. And so if I was Democratic Party and I was trying to get reelected and we were in the situation that we are in right now, this is exactly what I would do. And that's why I have a thesis that this is what's going to happen. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today. I got to get back to work, but I wanted to make this video for you because just like you, I was wondering what was causing the pump. Did a bit of research, found out why, and I want to deliver this to you guys. If you guys appreciate the video, make sure you like the video, subscribe to my channel if you're not here already. It's been, I've been making content pretty consistently recently. I had a long period of time where I didn't before that, around holidays and New Year, but I'm back and I really need your help to like this video, share with your friends. Please help me get this content out. I don't monetize it. I don't have sponsorships. I don't do Bybit affiliate links. I make this content for you guys because I care and I want to help you out. So please share it around. It would do me a huge favor. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.